And welcome to the Rotary Club of Foster City on Zoom, known as far away as Nashville, Tennessee, as the club that cooks. And I'd like to invite Ed Growe to unmute yourself and lead us in the pledge.
Put your hand over your heart and repeat with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great, thank you, Ed. And Mary Lou with the thought for the day.
Okay, I have two thoughts. Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. That's number one. And number two is really short. None of us sit high enough to look down on anybody. That's it. It's not inspirational, but it
Thank you,
struck
Mary
me.
Lou. I'd like to ask if there's any visiting Rotarians on with us today. We look at the roster of people. No, I think these are all club members. So I'm going to move on to guests. Wasn't there, Phoebe, didn't you have a guest? Wasn't Meta here?
Yeah, she came to 2 meetings in person already, and she already signed up for a volunteering event this weekend.
Oh,
What's up?
But I thought I saw her on the Zoom call.
Maybe she's on the Zoom call. I don't know.
Are
I'm
you
separate
there,
from
Meta?
her, so I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm in my house. She's wherever she is.
No, but I thought I saw her logged in. Okay.
Oh,
Well,
maybe she is. I'm not sure. I sent her the information. I said if you can join, great. If you
Okay.
can't, that's fine because she did come to the live meetings.
Well, if you haven't seen Meta, she came to a couple meetings. I think the last 2 meetings.
Oh, it's Mamta. It's Mamta.
Mamta. Okay.
Yeah.
And what's her last name, Phoebe?
Nanda.
Nanda. Okay. Please introduce yourself next time we're together. Again, I thought I saw her earlier, but she must have had something else to do. Birthdays for this week: Harry Zabin on May 27th. No anniversaries, and Craig Corton. Congratulations on your 23rd year with Rotary on May 26th. So congratulations, Craig. And Larry Kavinoki, would you like to address the club?
Yes, I would. Donna Powers was born June 5th, 1939. Donna Smith Powers died Friday, May 20th, 2022. She was attended by her daughter and son, who had been watching her for a week. She was an ordained Baptist minister, been in social work most of her life, and was terribly pleased to go to the Uruk and help get them all of those art supplies we delivered one year. And so I would propose that we're going to have a memorial service probably in July, and I will let the club know about that. But donations to the foundation, I would like them earmarked for something to improve the relationships between the interactors and the Uruks. Additional money of some kind. I think that would be an excellent thing since she was very interested in them. I think it helps the Uruks and our interactors. So make your donations to the Rotary Foundation and earmark them that way, and I'm sure we'll use the money wisely next time we get to go up there.
Curtis, can I please just make an announcement regarding Donna Powers? I went to visit her
Sure.
after our meeting last Wednesday, and Larry mentioned that she was non-responsive. When I went to visit her, she opened her eyes for me, and she mentioned to tell everyone in Rotary that she loved you guys.
Thanks, Letizia. thanks for the update, Larry. Our thoughts are with you
Thank you.
and her immediate family as well.
And thank you, Jeff and Phyllis and John and Linda, who have already sent me cards. I'm forward those on to the family.
Okay, Mamda, are you on? I'd like you to introduce yourself.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yeah, I saw you earlier, and then I
I
couldn't
did.
find you.
I did. I had to drop the call for a little bit. I had a business call I had to attend. My name is Mamta Nanda. I've been to 2 in-person meetings, and I'm new to the Rotary world. My friend Phoebe Venkat, who is already a Rotarian, she said I should join since I like to give back to the community and help others. I'm like, yeah, great. So I'm looking forward to possibly being a Rotary member soon.
Thank you and welcome.
Thank you.
All right, is Stephanie here for Sunshine Report? Patricia Nutty, nice to see you at the meeting. I hope you're well. We can't hear you, Patricia. All right. Okay, she's
There I
unmuting
am.
herself.
Thank
There
you,
you are.
Chris. Thank you. I'm coming along. Thank you.
Okay, great, Patricia. All right. If you have good news to share, could you please raise your virtual hand and I will acknowledge you? Any good news? Is Rich raising his actual hand? Is that you, Rich?
Ye-
Lizine?
Yes,
Okay,
I
go ahead. Go ahead, Rich.
am. Just a good news announcement. If you're interested in seeing the next generation of superstars, next week, please come to the Rotary meeting in person. I've got anywhere from 4 to 6 of the 8 community service scholarship recipients and guests coming in. It'll be an exciting time there. I mean, we got kids going to UC Berkeley, going to Yale, going to Princeton. So it's an outstanding group.
Great, great. Well, I mentioned that the Rotary Club is known as far away as Nashville, Tennessee. I just came back from Nashville last night for a little conference. It was a little bit of a vacation and conference at the same time, and that is some wild city, I gotta tell you. There are live bands. There's one street on Broadway that has, it's kind of like the nightlife area, and it had live bands in every single bar, facing inside the bar, but you can see kind of back because they were all in the windows. Then you go in, and there's a live band on the second floor, and another live band on the roof. So, and that was a Monday night, and P Ming, my wife, while I was in sessions, was walking around. She said that they start at 10 a.m. playing music, and they end at 2 a.m. So I can't imagine what the weekend's like. All right, Andrea, go ahead.
Thank you, President Curtis. I have 2 pieces of good news. The first piece of good news is I flew up last Thursday and got my mom from Virginia and flew back on Saturday. So she's staying with us for a while, which is super cool to have my mom in the house. So Stan and I are hosting her and just enjoying her. She's been a true blessing. And then the other good news is our moving stuff hopefully will be here tomorrow. It's only been 25 days. It'll be 26 days. And that's it. Thank
All right,
you.
well, good luck getting things in place once it arrives.
Right?
Any other good news to share from any club members?
Yes.
Go ahead, Jeff.
I'm sure a lot of longtime people here are aware of the Bohemian Grove up in Guerneville, a very famous place for many, many years. One of our village members, who is 100 years old, her son-in-law is a member, and he's a member of the Pig and Whistle camp. And they've spent between $100 and $1 million redoing it, and they're having live music and dinner.
Oh, you faded out, Jeff.
And so this Friday and Saturday, and so Phyllis and I were invited up. And then if you know much about the Grove, women are not allowed to visit. So Phyllis got disinvited, but I'll be going up this Friday for a really unique experience.
Great, thanks for sharing that, Jeff. Any other good news to share? All right, well, there's good news that Jamie Cabanero is on the mend, so he's with us today on Zoom. All right, just a reminder about membership dues, membership fees. Invoices went out on Club Runner last week or so. So please get those payments into Debbie Williams by June 15th. We had a question on the debunking. Debunking also, if you're going to sign up, please let Debbie know. It's on Friday, June 24th, starting at 6 p.m. She sent out a little flyer on Club Runner as well. You are welcome to bring your own wine. The corkage fee is actually already included. They're not going to charge us extra for the corkage. So bring your own. I will find out if they have a bar to order drinks if you don't bring your own wine, but you are welcome to bring your own wine. And then Memorial Day flag planting is a district event, which I just signed up for, Cindy. So I'll be joining that event. I didn't realize at the time that the flag planting is actually on the Saturday. It's not on Memorial Day, for those of you that signed up. When I signed up and I got the confirmation, I read it a little more carefully. It's actually on the Saturday before Memorial Day. So just a note on that. All right, Diana, an announcement about the Healthy Aging Fair.
Yes. Patricia and I met last night, and we have got 38 tables at this point. We have 4 more coming in, so we're doing okay there. The total income as of last night is 36,100. And there are 2 things that we need. On June 8th from 4:30 to 6:30, we will need people to meet at Patricia's to help start packing up the bags with the goodie items for them. And then on June, I can't read Patricia's writing. I'm sorry, you guys. On June 13th, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., it's going to be putting items in the presentation folders. So if anyone's interested in helping, just let us know. You can just email me.
Could you repeat those dates again and what you need?
Yeah, I'm sorry. On June 8th from 4:30 to 6:30, it's putting all the items in the blue Rotary bags.
Okay.
And then on June 13th from 10 a.m. to 12, it's putting items in the presentation folders.
Where will that be done?
That'll be at Patricia's office.
Okay.
I believe that's off Burrell.
It is. It's yeah, it's a
San
little.
Mateo.
Yeah, I can send you guys the address. So I'll put out a little email on Club Runner too, just so everybody knows. Otherwise, we are doing well. I do have more tickets to sell if anyone wants to sell more tickets. I've got them here at the house, so just let me know and I can bring them by.
Okay,
And
great.
that's it.
Thank you, Diana.
You're welcome.
All right, where is Rich Mozzini?
And I'm right here.
Okay,
And Bruno.
I'm going to spotlight you.
Pardon? You want me to start?
Yes, please.
Okay. Once again, for this month, we have a very we have a Foster City Rotarian of the month, very deserving member of our club. And the presenter today is our president, Curtis Chen. You're on.
Okay, okay, I'm not muted, okay. So Yeah, this person is a fairly new Rotarian and has really jumped in and volunteered on almost every single event. I think you all know who that is, so I'm just going to I'm going to honor her now and continue talking about Diana Schroeder. So Diana, I have nominated you for the Rotarian of the Month. In particular, being our club photographer, um, taking all those pictures and getting them up on Facebook and getting them over to Rel to put on our website. It just really makes all the difference in the world in keeping our Facebook page fresh. And just taking all the pictures is a big commitment. But you're there every week at every meeting, and every time there is a project that we need help on, you're there. You're the first one on the line to sign up. And I know that Patricia, Player Maxwell, has appreciated all of your help on the Healthy Aging Fair. She says that to me all the time. So I'm very pleased to honor you with the Rotarian of the Month.
Thank you, Curtis. I don't, you know me, I'm not, it's just, all I can say is thank you. It's just, I enjoy doing it. I don't need the kudos, but it's appreciated. Just as long as I can jump in and help, I'm good. But thank you.
Great, great.
You're welcome. And this is her second time. She won a Rotarian of the Month a year ago, almost to this date. Well deserved. I have a nice plaque for you that I will give to you next week if we're in person, which I hope we will be. It says Diane Schroeder, service above self. In the short time that Diana has been a Foster City Rotarian, she has always made an important impact on our club. In addition to being our club secretary, as Curtis said, she volunteers for almost every project the club holds. Diana has gone out of her way to take pictures of our check presentations, speakers, employee, student, Rotarian of the Month, as well as projects in the community, and have them posted on our Facebook page in a timely manner. For this, we salute you as Rotarian of the Month and for enhancing our public image in the community. Rotary Club of Foster City, May 2022. Congratulations again.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Okay, and we'll get that to you at the next club meeting, maybe.
You got it.
All right.
Curtis, can I add something?
Yes.
I just wanted to say that, with regards Diana again, that she, no matter what you need help with, you just say it and Diana's like, okay, I got it. I will be there. I will help you out. No excuses. She says, how can I help? And that truly is Diana. So we are all greatly appreciative of that attitude, Diana. Thank you for your help.
You're welcome, Shiraz.
Well said.
Thanks.
Well said. And I know that, Shiraz has been working with Diana because Diana's kind of hidden work that people don't see is really working on Club Runner and maintaining our club rosters. And so she's helped me also with that. There's a lot of kind of behind the scenes work that she does as well. So thanks again, Diana.
You're welcome.
All right, I am going to, okay, so before I show a video that Jeff sent me, I'm going to let everyone know that our speaker canceled on us because he would rather be an in-person speaker. He was going to speak on the violin. So I have two backup plans for that, and I'm going to let the club vote on chat on which one to choose. The first is, I know some of you, I think the Ponds were at the Rotary Club for Global Action meeting for the RI president nominee, Gordon McNally, talk. I do have a video that I can show on that for the rest of us if you want to see that. The second, I quickly prepared this morning an economic and investment outlook given kind of the turbulent times we're in. So that's choice number 2. So if you would, so those are the two choices for the substitute speaker for today. If you could just put that in the chat while I run the video for the week. Go ahead. Let's see. Video. And by the way, no hard feelings if I get voted down.
I can't seem to get mine going, but I'll go with number 2.
Hang on, I'm putting up the video.
It's very easy if we don't get a commitment from the hot. They could go from hot.
All right, here we go.
All of a sudden, with Boston, let's get them when they're hot. When they're hot is when they're most excited. Always going to be
Again, this is the USS Montana requesting that you immediately divert your course 15 degrees to the north to avoid a collision. Over.
Please divert your course 15 degrees to the south to avoid collision.
This is Captain Hancock. You will divert your course. Over.
Negative, Captain. I'm not moving anything. Change your course. Over.
Sir, this is the USS Montana, the second largest vessel in the North Atlantic Fleet. You will change course 15 degrees north, or I will be forced to take measures to ensure the safety of this ship. Over.
This is the lighthouse, mate. It's your call. Hello?
All right, hope everybody enjoyed that. Thanks, Jeff, for supplying me with all those videos. All right, what are we looking at for voting?
We want more videos.
You want more videos? I have another one because we have some time. So let me put up another video. Jeff, should I do the pregnancy one?
I haven't sent you any for 3 months, so whatever you have, try them.
Okay. All right. This is a short one.
Take this pill, and the pain of childbirth will be transferred to the father. I don't feel anything.
I thought that was cute. All right. Let's see. How's the voting going?
Good boy, Jeff.
Economic talk. Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Looks like I won. All right. I guess I have to. Can't relax. All right. Before I start.
Curtis, no, you lost. You get
lost,
to give the
right?
speech.
Thought I could relax and just put up the video. All right. Before I start with the presentation, does anybody have anything to address the club about? I know that we made this decision kind of short notice to go 100% on Zoom. The plan is to go back to in-person next week. I will not be present, so Mark Watson will preside on my behalf. I'm flying to Houston to take care of a few things in my parents' house before the RI convention. So he has graciously agreed to sub for me. So does anybody have anything they want to address? Go.
Shiraz, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Shiraz.
Yeah, so we were going to talk to the club about, testing out Sign Up Genius, right?
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
So basically for my term, Debbie Williams is not going to be sending the email out to everybody to check your attendance. And as a result, we are just testing in the month of June to see if this model works. You will all receive a link to Sign Up Genius. It's only the first time that you have to log in and create an account. After that, you just click it. And so we don't need to have a special person every week send you all emails and tally it. Once you just do that once for yourself, the person can just check and see all your names and whoever is there. It really saves a lot of time and work for the people volunteering in this position. So I hope that all of you try it out. If you need any help with setting up an account at Sign Up Genius, it's pretty easy. But anyway, I'm there to help if you need help setting up the account.
And just to clarify, this is for the RSVPs for the weekly meetings, so we can get them to the Crown Plaza. It's basically an electronic sign-up system. Phoebe, you have your hand up?
Am I allowed to bring up non-club business just because of
Yeah, sure.
the shootings that have happened? So it's a couple things. One is there will be a vigil at the gazebo at Leo Ryan Park this evening at 7:30. I believe they'll be handing out electronic candles. So if anyone can join, or just think of everyone in spirit. And the second thing is related is if we can have a moment of silence. I don't know if it's now appropriate or at the end of the meeting before we end, just to pay our respects to the victims.
Yeah, let's do that now. Okay, thank you. What time was that vigil again?
7:30 p.m. tonight at the gazebo at Leo Ryan.
Okay, great. Anybody else
Curtis?
have anything to address? The
Yeah,
club?
to it, Curtis.
Oh, go ahead, John.
I sent out a chat to everybody that's here. Larry said send contributions for Donna to the Rotary Foundation. But as we all know, that would take 3 or 4 years for us to get that money up to UROC. And so if you want to make a contribution to Donna through Larry, and please make it to Debbie Williams through the Rotary Club of Foster City Foundation. You'll still get a tax deduction, but that money can be then directed. If it's sent to the Rotary Foundation, it can't be directed to UROC.
Thank you, John, for that clarification. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Let's see. All right, and please send questions through the chat. I'll take questions at the end as well. So, as everybody is experiencing, the economy and the stock markets have been a little bit of turmoil. There's a few negative things going on, and there's a few positive things. So first of all, the geopolitical risks have been pretty high, highest since September 11th, 2001. And just to give you context, let me just put up the, let's see. The geopolitical risk index is something that we measure, and this spike over here on the right is basically now. And then this spike is 2003. I think there was an invasion of a country then. And then 2001, obviously September 11th. So we do have some geopolitical risks right now that's affecting the economy and the stock market. Interest rates, our forecast at LPL is that they're going to be, this is before the recent interest rate hike of 50 basis points. We're expecting seven of them by the end of the year. And inflation will continue to be high, but not as high as what we've seen published in the last couple months or weeks. It'll settle back down probably to about 4%. And valuations is basically a measure of how the price in the stock market is related to the value of the companies. We're still at very high valuation rates, even with the recent stock market declines. So those are the kind of the negatives, is that we may still have some downward action in the stock market because we're at high valuations, and some of these things are fighting against companies' earnings growth. However, there are some positives. The banking and finance industry is actually very, very healthy right now. There's a measure of how much assets a bank has versus how much loans they have, and that's near record lows. So that is very, very healthy for the banking industry. And secondly, corporations are also very, very healthy. So they have a very, very high earnings compared to how much they have to pay as far as their bonds. The consumer is also very healthy. The consumer FICO rating, which is your credit rating, if you take the average among everyone in the United States, it's above 700, which is actually extraordinary. And there's a lot of cash right now. There's a lot of cash in the not being invested. So that would imply that we would have upward pressure on prices in the stock market. So there's some good and there's some bad. Obviously, the stock market's gone down quite a bit. It's down about 15 to 17% since the beginning of the year. However, historically, when we've seen the stock market, the S&P 500 is proxy for the stock market, when we've seen that drop by more than 10%, the rebound is quite good. There's a buying opportunity. So on average, the 12-month return after a 10% decline is 15%. That's compared to an overall average of the stock market of 10%. And even just 6 months later, it's a 6% bump. So there is a value to being contrary to what everybody else is doing. Should be buying when people are selling and selling when people are buying. So as the great investor Warren Buffett has said, be greedy when other people are fearful, and be fearful when other people are greedy. Kind of paraphrases that's what he says. Now, one thing to try to avoid is timing the market, right? Because it's really hard to predict which way the stock market is going. And if you're wrong, it's really detrimental to your investments. So the average 3-year return from 1988 to the end of 2021 was 11%. If you miss just the best 5 days in that 3 years, your return drops to 4%, which is basically the return of bonds. So you could have just taken the safe route and just gone in bonds if you wanted no volatility. So if you just missed the best 5 days, even in this bad market this year, in the first quarter, the stock market was down about 5%. If you missed the best 5 days, then your stock market return would be minus 15%. So timing the market's really hard, and if you get it wrong, you're punished for that. Again, it's really hard right now to think optimistically. There are a lot of things going on right now. Russia and Ukraine, US-China trade relations are still not very good. Oil prices are up. But the stock market, during all of the geopolitical shaker events, has always rebounded. So it's hard to read because it's such a small type. But if you take all of these events, such as, Watergate, all the way back in the 70s, all the way to Hurricane Katrina, 9/11 is in here, of course, the war in Afghanistan, the Second Gulf War, SARS, remember SARS in Asia? So the average return after these major events was 9.3% for 1 year, the next 1 year. So basically the stock market shrugs off all these bad events, right? So if you can stay patient and disciplined, you should be okay. I'm just going to skip this one. So earnings, people are saying, hey, things are more expensive for companies, things are more expensive for people, so earnings are going to decline. Well, our earnings growth since coronavirus was this big spike right here. But that's to be expected, right? We shut down the economy, so everybody's balance sheets basically shrunk, and we rebounded. But we still have, of course, we're going to see a deceleration of the amount of earnings growth, but the growth is still going to be very good. So here's the, from 2022 earnings expectations to 2023, analysts are still seeing that we're going to have growth in the economy. The big I word is inflation. So here's the inflation graph on the left here. You can see there's a big spike here in costs. A lot of that is due to supply chain. We can't build any cars right now, so all used car prices are up. In fact, all new car prices are up because the ones that are in inventory, that's all they have. They can't build anymore. But that will start to come down as the supply of goods becomes more prevalent, and we're starting to see that a little bit on the right hand side is basically the supply of goods, right? The bottlenecks are starting to go away. Interest rates. So I mentioned that LPL is forecasting 7 interest rate hikes this year. So in general, popular opinion is that when interest rates go up, that we have a bad stock market. But in the last 9 interest rate hike cycles, 8 of them had positive stock market returns in the next 12 months. And the average was 8%, right? So that's this chart here. All the way back to 1972, we've had 9 cycles of the Fed raising interest rates, and 8 out of the 9 we were positive. And if you take the average, it's a positive 8% over the next 12 months during the interest rate cycle. On the right-hand side, this is what the returns have been in other investments. So commodities do very well. So that's holding true right now. Oil prices are up, gold prices are up, and actually even agricultural commodities are up. Wheat, pork bellies, oranges, all those prices are up. Emerging markets tends to go up a lot faster too. Those are the developing countries such as India and Brazil. And the stock market here I mentioned is about an 8% return for the next 12 months after rates start going up. So interest rates are not really as bad as people think on businesses. This is the volatility index. So this graph on the left is how volatile the stock market is. And you can see it's actually not that, it's actually average right now. We had a lot more volatility in the past. So people are feeling it, but it's their perception of how volatile the stock market is right now is actually amplified because we're in the present. We're always in the present. But if you look at a historical norms, the stock market is behaving averagely, as I will say. All right. So, what are we favoring right now? One thing that we favor. Actually, this is our forecast. So we do have a dampening forecast for the stock market. So the last last several years we've been getting very good returns in the stock market. About 16% return in the last 3 to 5 years. Our expectation is that going to drop down to like 6 or 7%. So mid-single digit returns. So that's just the way things are. Things cycle. And we may be in for a tough time, but that's still positive, right? That's still positive. In international, there is some risk still in China because of the trade relationship that we have with them, or non-relationship we have with them. So that we would be cautious on, but we do like India and Brazil, as I mentioned before. Okay, let's talk about inflation. So in an inflationary environment, real estate investments are really positive. And that's, when I talk about real estate, I'm not talking about residential real estate, I'm talking about commercial real estate. And that's usually because landlords can raise rents in inflationary environments. These big buildings also have financing on them, and financing rates have been really low until recently. So and they're fixed rates. So when your financing is fixed and you raise rents, your earnings go up. It's just simple math. So this is just a historical average of how, in a negative inflation environment, this is basically international real estate versus international stock. It does worse. So real estate's not great in a negative inflation or deflationary environment, but in inflationary environment, the real estate investments do better. So we favor real estate right now as well. Another area we're looking at, and this is, I'll just skip that one because that's another area we're looking at is high yield bonds. So high yield bonds are bonds that are issued by companies that have a lower credit rating. So they have to give a higher interest rate. And the higher interest rate is because if I invest in a high yield bond, there's more of a chance of it defaulting, not paying the interest or the principal, than a high quality bond. So I need to be rewarded for that investment. So the reward is a higher interest rate. Now that difference between what I get in a high yield bond versus a high quality bond has been pretty small until this quarter. It's been very narrow, and so that's what this is illustrating. And now it's starting to widen, right? So this yellow bar is basically the difference between the interest rates I get in a high yield bond and a high quality bond. And as of the end of last quarter, I'm getting 3% more now for a high yield bond, which is actually a pretty good premium. These are just some more graphs about, so this is net income margin. So this is a very important graph down here on the bottom left. This is how much a company is earning compared to how much they have to pay in bond payments. And you want that number to be higher. Like if I earn more money than I'm paying out, that's good for future payments, right? So this is actually going up, and then interest payment. This is another metric of the same thing. So companies are pretty healthy in paying off their debt right now. Same with consumers. Consumers, the consumer credit ratings above 700 is unheard of actually. So people and companies are doing pretty well on their finances. I think it is a factor of the economy being shut down for a year and a half. People didn't have anywhere to spend their money, so a lot of people just saved their money and they didn't have, or they paid off their credit card debt. Okay, so that is pretty much my remarks at this point. Does anybody have any questions?
Curtis, this is Bob Mike. I have a question.
Yes. Sure.
You showed the returns in the stock market is around 6 to 8% going forward. Is that correct?
Yes.
How do you factor in the impact of inflation on that return? What's the real growth based on offsetting inflation?
So the forecast for inflation is 4%.
Okay.
So if we get let's say we get the lower end of that range, we still are keeping up with inflation.
Okay.
But that's a good question because that's actually most important, right? Because if inflation's at 2% and we're getting 4% return, economically that's the equivalent of getting 6% in a 4% inflationary environment. It's just that we've been spoiled with double-digit returns in a 2% inflation environment for the last 10 years or so, right? Ever since well, actually it's longer, since the 08, 09. So that's 12 years, 12 or 13 years. And we've been running below 2% inflation since 1991. 1991 was the last time we had over 3% inflation in the country. I'm not talking the Bay Area, I'm talking about the country as a whole. But people get used to that. Any other questions? Gary.
Gary, what was significant to me is one of your first charts, you were showing 11% return on the S&P 500. I don't recall, over what time frame was that?
That was over the 1988 to 2021.
Okay, a very long time frame.
Yeah.
And that fits in with what I've learned and heard many places, which is over every 7-year time frame since the Depression, we've received 10% on stocks, let's say the S&P 500, including dividends.
Yeah.
So I think that's a very important stat in relationship to being risk averse, in that somebody who thinks that they're doing well by getting into CDs of, throw out a number, 1%, they're definitely losing in relationship to the long term on the stock market and losing in relationship to inflation.
Right. Just to go back to Mike's comment, if you're getting 1% on a CD and inflation's 4%, your economic situation is getting worse and worse every year, right? Actually, the stock market has returned since World War I on average. It's about 9.5%. If you go back that far. The 1988 to 2021 average that I gave you was right after a stock market crash. There was Black Monday, if you remember, in 1987. So that I think that was a 30% down in one day. So it's tilted higher just because we started at a low point. Any other questions, Gary?
Thank you so much. I thought the presentation was really good.
Okay, somebody commented. Oh, Bob Kaplan. I was reading this morning how the Treasury is trying to get Russian bonds to default. Yeah.
Hey, Curtis and Bob, it's the Russians are still members of U.S. association banks, and they're not going to extend it, so the June payment will not be allowed to be made, and that'll probably, usually they get 30 days. So in July, almost for sure, Russians will have no way to make their international payments.
Yeah, and I think the international community is forcing the Russians to pay their bond payments in rubles, which, it's been devalued, so that's like a double crushing restriction. Any other questions on economy or investments? Otherwise, I'm going to turn it over to the floor. All right, I will open it up. Yeah.
Curtis, I had a simple question actually.
Yes.
You mentioned that you guys are optimistic about commercial real estate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Going forward. And my question is, how do you see the impact of, people not wanting to go back to work in commercial buildings? And that's going to affect, at least in the Bay Area, I think so how do you think that impact of COVID with commercial real estate versus your inflation and all of that, how that plays out?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's actually a lot of different segments of commercial real estate. So there's uh, warehouses is commercial real estate, and everybody's buying things online right now. So we actually need more warehouses, right? Um, there's the office buildings may be a little bit challenged, but the high quality office buildings are not going to be, because corporate headquarters still need to be somewhere, right? So if you have the real estate that is the high quality, like 101 California, Park Avenue in New York, those kind of like trophy buildings, that's where we would see, still significant growth in the rents, because those are not replaceable. You can't you know even if the CEO is not there working there, you need to have a building for a corporate headquarters. So, as I mentioned, warehouses, pretty good, pretty good growth there. Retail, no, for the opposite reason, right? People are not going into the stores, so stores are just closing. They're just going online. Apartments, possibly, right? Apartment buildings, because there's a housing shortage right now, right? So you may not think of that as a commercial real estate because residents live there, but it's run by companies, right? So, and then very interestingly, there are some hotel REITs, real estate investments that just focus on leisure, so hotels and resorts. Those I would stay away from, because those are very volatile based on how the consumer is spending. And if you look at an apartment building, your lease is usually a year, right? And so you change the rent every year maybe. And if somebody stays in the apartment, maybe you go month to month, so you can change it every month. The Ritz-Carlton or the Hyatt place or whatever, their rents are based on a daily rate. I rent that room for a day, so the rates are going to could change every day, right? And so that's why that's very unpredictable based on consumer behavior. But it could be very opportunistic if we get a spike in travel, right? So anyway.
Curtis,
Yes.
I want to talk to you real quickly. There's kind of a third segment of real estate that doesn't really affect everybody that's on this panel, but life science, you would know as applied biosystems and Genentech, that sort of thing. That is absolutely on fire right now. Everything from we're never really experienced a recession in the Bay Area because you can use Foster City as the demarc location, because going to the south you have Silicon Valley, going to the north you have bioscience, and everything from the north. Burlingame is projected to have several million square feet under construction for life science buildings. So everything, office buildings are kind of standing still. Warehouse buildings the same, but life science is absolutely on fire. So, that's going to keep our economy, I think, pretty healthy in the Bay Area for a while. So just wanted to throw that in.
Yep. Thanks for those comments. Any other comments or questions?
I have an unrelated, I have an unrelated question or unrelated statement to your presentation, which was great, and I really appreciate it. But I want to thank Phoebe for making us aware of the vigil tonight regarding the Robb Elementary students who lost their lives and their teachers, because that can happen anywhere in any school district, in any community. And so I will go, Phoebe. I didn't even know about it until just now, but I'll be there. And I loved what Steve Kerr had to say last night. He's exactly right.
So if I could add something to that, Curtis.
Yes.
It was advertised on KPIX News this morning. So my advice to everybody is either get there early or walk there. It's supposed to be a nice night, but I think that's going to be crowded. Wear a mask.
Good idea, Larry. Okay, well, I will adjourn the meeting a little bit early. Thank you, everyone, for being flexible on going to Zoom. We're going to resume next week again under the guidance of well, actually presiding. Mark Watson will be presiding for me.
Curtis?
Yes.
Curtis?
Yes.
This is Ed.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't the food trucks tonight at the same place at the park? So that's going to be very, very busy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They're Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
Wednesday nights.
Okay, I'd like to thank the members that gave service. Oh, Phyllis was on for greeter, but I guess that's a little tough in the Zoom environment. But thanks for agreeing to do it. Ed Grohe, thank you for leading us in the pledge. Mary Lou, thank you for the thought for the day. And Steve Droz is taking our minutes today.
Curtis,
So-
real quick, can I thank Mary Lou for something?
Sure.
Mary Lou, thank you for volunteering your house. Patricia said yes. And I think with COVID, it's probably better that we have a bigger space.
Yeah, I got it.
So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Thanks, Curtis.
Okay, you're welcome. Next week, if you remember, we had Katerina from the Lions Club come give a
Oh,
little
yeah.
announcement a couple weeks ago. She will be speaking on Ukraine next week. So that is our speaker for next week. And I thank everybody for attending. I will keep the meeting going for those that want to chat, but we are adjourned for now. Thank you.